This organization, it is called Great Lakes Growth. We'll find out what their concerns are. Wendy Block joins us right now, Senior Vice President of Business Advocacy for the Michigan Chamber of Commerce. Good morning, Wendy.
Good morning.
Morning. Thanks for joining us today. So this group has, I thought it must be serious if you have some business organizations teaming up officially, giving themselves a name and saying, we have to take some action here before these bills pass. What are the big concerns? What bills, what policies are the big concerns for this group?
Yeah, so this really kind of goes back to the first 10 months of the year. So the business groups that are involved in the Great Lakes Coalition, which include the Michigan Chamber, the Grand Rapids and Detroit Chambers, and the Michigan Manufacturers Association, have come together because we've been trying to work with the new majority parties in Lansing, working to find middle ground and find positive policy outcomes for our members, for our state, for its citizens. But we are increasingly concerned, and we are increasingly hearing from small business owners across the state about their frustration about the many anti-business, anti-growth policy proposals pending in Lansing. And really, this coalition is focused on four key issues. First of all is the debate that is happening in the legislature around clean energy. And certainly all of us can agree for the need to find, ways to improve our climate and have more clean energy, but really don't feel like there is a balanced conversation going on about how this affects affordability and reliability for our state's residents and businesses. We're also working on another issue related to the use of independent contractors, and this one impacts employers and businesses alike. A paid leave mandate that's coming down the pipe, as well as legislation pending to give Michigan's 1,800 local units of government the green light to pass their own patchwork of local employment laws. So I know that's a lot, but there's a lot of big issues on the table in Lansing, and we just feel like we need to speak out and speak out more loudly about these things.
It just seems like there's a conflict there where the governor has a lot of real pro-union-based policies, namely the right to work has been repealed, and at the same time has launched a commission to figure out why people aren't staying in Michigan, why our population is decreasing. Is there a disconnect, you think, between the understanding of some of these policies and the impact they'll have?
Yeah, we believe so. So while we strongly share the governor's vision for growing Michigan's population and making Michigan a place everyone wants to call home and wants to work and play in, we are increasingly concerned that the message about growing Michigan is at odds with the policies that are on the table in Lansing, which will very much put Michigan's path to economic and population growth at risk. And so we just don't see how these two things really can work together. And that's kind of what we're calling out here, is that we need to find ways to work together to pass policies that will enhance growth, to boost the workforce participation rate, to boost our state's population, but not be doing things that are going to kind of drive those things down further.
Paid leave right now, as I understand, there aren't any details, but they're maybe modeling it after a Minnesota law. This would require both employers and employees to pitch in to a fund that would cover people who take leave of absence for any number of reasons. How big of a concern is that with this new business coalition? What kind of impact could that have potentially?
Yeah, it's a big concern for us, and we understand that when people hear the word paid leave, they automatically think this is a good thing. And this is one where the details very much matter. What the legislature is considering, as you mentioned, is modeling a program that was recently passed in Minnesota to provide for 15 weeks of paid leave, and that will be funded by a new payroll tax on employers and potentially employees. So employers could choose to pass on 50% of the cost of their employees. We're talking about probably a $1.5 billion a year program. And the details are quite complicated, but this would impact employers of all sizes and types. So even your very small mom and pop type shops. And we have concerns about just how 15 weeks of leave could impact their operations and frankly, their ability to survive in the long term. But we also have concerns that employees will have to potentially pay for half of the cost of these, and really aren't sure that all employees agree that the cost of this is kind of worth the benefit, right? This may work for a lot of people and be great for a lot of people, but there's going to be a lot of people that say, wait, not so fast. I'm not sure that this is anything that I really need or want, especially if it means I'm going to lose other vacation time as a result, which it probably will force employers to rethink their other paid time off policies.
Well, and I know no details have emerged yet, but it would be quite liberal, I think, the list of people who would qualify to take paid leave, and they wouldn't have to take it all at once. They could scatter it around the year. For small businesses, I don't know about Lansing, but I know Northern Michigan, we are struggling in every sector, manufacturing, retail, even government, restaurants, hotels, to find enough people. I don't see where this would help the situation at all.
Yeah, we agree. And frankly, we would love to see the legislature talk about ways that we can break down barriers to employability, right? To get more people attached to the workforce. Things like that the Michigan Chamber have been working on for several years now. Things like breaking down the barrier to affordable childcare so people have somewhere to put their children all day when they go to work. Things like affordable housing, workforce attainable housing, right? If you find a job but you don't find anywhere to live nearby, you're not likely to be able to take that opportunity. And so there's a lot of things that the legislature could be doing in this area of employability that would really help move the needle. We feel like this is going to remove more people from the workforce in the short and long term and really could have severe consequences on those employees that choose to stay.
All right, they have the troika there. They have the governorship, the Senate, and the House are all Democrat. Slim majorities, though, in both the House and Senate. What's the strategy here, then, from this new business coalition? Do you try to find a few Democrats that will listen and try to be sensible, or what kind of clout will you have now that you're joining together these different business groups?
Yeah, so we have really spent the better part of the last 10 months talking to legislators on both sides of the aisle. So that will not change. That's not new for us. What this does is takes a bigger tent approach to voicing concerns about these anti-business, anti-growth policies pending in Lansing. If your listeners go to greatlakesgrowth.com, our landing page, you'll see each of the individual issues that we're working on, and that there are over 100 different business and trade groups and others who are engaged with us on these issues. This is intended to amplify the voice of the business community, not only those working in Lansing every day and kind of hitting the pavement, talking to legislators in their office, but also people that are in communities back home and able to amplify that voice, not only kind of in Lansing, but back in legislators' districts. So really the goal here is to amplify our voices, to create more surround sound, if you will, and to get more business owners up to speed on what is happening in Lansing and to hopefully engage them, because what we're telling our members right now is you need to be engaged. You need to be speaking to your local legislator or potentially suffer the consequences. Like, they can't just hear this in Lansing. They need to hear it back home.
Yeah, we did hear somebody from the Grand Rapids Chamber today, and they said one of their members was seriously concerned about whether they would be able to remain in business if just one of these, the paid leave went through. Do you know offhand? I can look it up. Oh, go ahead, Wendy.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, I think a lot of people listen to this and they think there's a lot of high rhetoric around these things, but these things have real-world consequences in the real world, and we're just, wanting business owners, especially small business owners who will be the hardest hit by this, to understand what is being considered in Lansing and to look at these things seriously. And if they're concerned, want to give them an avenue to making their voice heard before it's too late.
All right. Do you know offhand if the Traverse City Chamber, which goes by the name Traverse Connect, are they part of the coalition?
They are part of many of our individual coalitions that we have going. So as I mentioned, the Great Lakes Growth is tackling a number of individual issues, including independent contractors, paid leave, local employment laws, and the energy debate. And Traverse Connect is engaged with us and very active, great members on a lot of those coalitions.
But they're not actual members of the Great Lakes Growth, then, the group?
At this point, we just kind of started with a small group to launch it, and we are continuing to add as we go. But Traverse Connect is a great advocate for businesses in the greater Traverse City area, thinks very highly of them.
All right. Wendy Block, the Senior VP of Business Advocacy for the Michigan Chamber of Commerce in Lansing. Thanks for checking in for the information today.
Thank you.